Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sake Revolution. This is America's first sake podcast, and I'm your host, John Puma from the Sake Notes, also the administrator over at the Internet Sake Discord. Come visit us sometime. But yeah, on this show, I'm the guy who's not the sake samurai.
And I'm your host, Timothy Sullivan. I'm a sake samurai. I'm the director of education over at the Sake Studies Center at Brooklyn Kura. And I'm the founder of the Urban Sake website. And you'll find John and I here all the time talking about sake and trying to make it fun and easy to understand. How you doing?
I'm good.
All right. Well, we have an explosive episode this week, John.
Yes, we do. So, Tim, I hear this episode might be the bomb.
You got me.
I never thought we'd do an episode on this. So you explain yourself, sir.
Well, John, you and I are all about premium sake. We love to promote sake. We always love to speak about sake in a good light. We always like to look on the bright side and promote the best of the sake world. But there is a topic out there that dogs all of us sake educators. And I thought it was time that we tackle this head on.
Dogs you?
It dogs us, yes.
I'm fascinated by the dogging. But okay. Explain the dog. Explain the canine in the room.
It means, it's something that plagues us.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a topic as a sake educator that sometimes comes up and we have to address it. And it's very divisive. It's very, it splits the sake world into two camps. And the topic we're going to talk about today is sake bombs.
Yeah, that I said it would be the bomb. And it's that bomb.
It's
That's
explosive.
The bomb we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, sake. So, and before we even get anywhere with this, Tim, I have a question for you. Have you ever done a sake bomb?
I have never done a sake bomb. How about you, John? True confessions.
All right. So no, I have not done a sake bomb either. So that makes us the perfect people to be talking about sake bombs today. Now, why have you never done a sake bomb?
Well, I didn't really get into sake till I was like 35. So I think sake bombs are something in popular American culture that you do during college or, whatever. And I was not drinking sake during college. I never came across one. I was not a big drinker in college. So, it never crossed my path. And then when I got older, I fell in love with sake and was introduced to premium sake right away and kind of never went down that path.
Interesting. So what you're saying is that by the time you got into sake, you were too old for that shit. Has anybody ever offered you a sake bomb?
I can't think of one. People have brought it up to me all the time as a sake teacher, in a joking way or, having serious questions about it. But no one's ever put one down in front of me and been like, let's do this.
That's funny. I feel like knowing you, I feel like people would be like you're very, how do I put this delicately? You give the appearance of a man of high standing. And I think that perhaps people would feel that you would be insulted if they tried to give you a sake bomb. That is, I'm not saying that is what people think. I'm just, or that that's what you think, but I think that people would be a little bit like, I don't know, Tim Sullivan might be offended if I try to give him a sake bomb. What do you think of that?
Well,
is it?
Maybe am I a distinguished gentleman? Look at this distinguished gentleman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You on the other hand.
No, me and I have been offered sake bombs before, but my excuse is the one I have. I really just don't drink beer. And if I drank beer, it might be a lot of fun. I don't know, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a follow-up question for you just to kind of gauge your level of distinguished gentlemanness. When was the last time you did a shot?
Okay. I know the answer to this
Does
one.
it predate your first interaction with sake?
No, I've done a shot very recently.
Oh, wow. You did a shot recently. I'm very impressed by this.
Yes.
What was it?
Yes. So I went to a very nice cocktail bar in the city, in the West Village in New
Sure.
York.
Sure.
It's called Angel Share.
Yes. The legendary Angel Share.
The legendary Angel Share. It's now in the West Village, and it is so fun, and the cocktails are amazing.
Yeah.
And when you go in there and you are in the industry, and I've met some of the bartenders there before, and they do serve Hakkai-san sake there as part of one of their cocktails.
Mhm.
And they were very, very kind to us and welcomed us as people who are in the industry and one of the suppliers for their products. And when we were leaving, they said, "Would you like to do a shot with us?" And so they picked a tequila, and I did it. I said, "There's no backing out."
I cannot imagine you doing a tequila shot. No offense.
I did it.
You see, you understand, listening at home, seeing Tim Sullivan let his hair down is a rare treat. And it happens very infrequently. And I clearly missed an opportunity at the Angel Share. I've been to Angel Share, and all I had was $25 cocktails. I never had a shot. They're very good cocktails, by the way.
They're very good. To answer your question, I have done a shot, but never a sake bomb. And I'm okay with that. I think we should lay a few ground rules about this episode because it's going to generate a lot of controversy online, I'm sure. But one thing I want to make clear right from the beginning here is that John and I are not doing a sake bomb today on this episode, right?
Right. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I wonder why that is, because if we're doing it, we do an episode and we always drink the thing we talk about. Though here we don't. And it's not like we can change gears right now and suddenly make a beer appear. I don't actually have any in the house. But what was the reasoning behind that?
Well, I don't think sake bombs are intrinsically bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I want to do it because they're not something that's meant for premium sake per se. Right. And I think that if you want to do that with your sake, that's fine. But we decided not to do that because it's not something that I necessarily want to encourage. It's not a cultural part of the sake industry that I want to promote. I want to talk about it on this episode a little more academically, but I don't think doing it is going to help and support the sake industry. And that is always my number one priority.
Sounds good. I like that explanation. You explained yourself well. That's fine. I've also heard many fun things about sake bombs, about their place in the industry and what they bring to the party, so to speak. But I did not do the studying on this one. You did. So why don't you tell us about the origins of the sake bomb?
Yeah. Well, we should get some facts out there right away first.
Okay, some facts. I'm ready for the facts.
In Japan, the sake bomb is almost unknown. So
correct.
The sake bomb is not something that originated in Japan or in Japanese culture and came to the U.S. No.
No, it is the General Tso's chicken of sake imbibing.
Yes. So it is something that was born of American culture, and most Japanese people don't know about it. And when they hear about it, they're like, wow, that's really weird. So there's
do we need to explain what it is first?
Oh, we should do that for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. There may be people
everybody listening now knows his beer. And I think they assume that there's sake. And if you're with us that far, you're nailing it.
Okay, John. So John, why don't you give us your description of what a sake bomb entails?
Sure. Have you ever had a Jaeger bomb before? You, the listener at home. Have you ever seen an Irish car bomb? Same idea, but it's sake. Sometimes, if they're being especially fancy, they will take the shot of sake and they will place it on some chopsticks above the beer, kind of as a a platform, and then you slam the bar, inevitably the chopsticks will give way. The shot glass will fall into your beer, and then you pound the beer with the sake in it. That is the sake bomb.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's it.
I've
Yeah.
seen
And
plenty. I just haven't done it.
yeah. And I will put, if you're interested in seeing this in action, I will put a video from YouTube into our show notes so you can see the sake bomb in action, someone else doing one. And yeah, so
Someone else.
you know,
Someone is definitely not
someone
us.
else. I wonder if people are gonna think that you and I are on a high horse because we're not doing a sake bomb, but
No, I'm
I
just
don't
not a
care.
beer guy.
Yeah.
No, my horse is quite low. I just don't enjoy beer.
Yeah. So you mentioned a few things when you were describing what the sake bomb was, John, and that actually ties into the origin of what it is. A sake bomb is actually a cocktail.
Really? Sure. Yes, it
Yeah.
is literally a
I
cocktail.
I am here to tell you it is a cocktail.
Okay.
There
This
is
this sounds like one of those like, is a hot dog a sandwich kind of things.
yes, this is.
a,
This is a hot dog. It's a sandwich.
a sake
Yes.
bomb is a cocktail. Done. We have that now.
I think so. So you mentioned an Irish car bomb,
Right.
and which is a cocktail.
Right.
And another one I want to mention is a boilermaker. Have you heard of a boilermaker?
Yeah, I think a boilermaker kind of covers all of these derivative bomb drinks, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, a boilermaker is the original, and it started in the late 19th century, so the 1800s. You would order a beer, and it would come with a shot of whiskey on the side, not dropped in, but on the side. So a pint with a shot.
Okay.
That was called a boilermaker. And in the 20th century, it evolved into dropping the shot of whiskey into the beer. And that is a modern boilermaker. So it originated with the shot on the side and evolved into dropping the whiskey into the beer. And then the Irish car bomb is Irish whiskey dropped into stout beer. So that's a variation.
That may have a mildly offensive name. We didn't name it. That's just what it's called.
Yeah. I did look up the history of the sake bomb to research this episode, and they outlined the evolution from the Boilermaker to the Irish car drink to the sake bomb.
The Irish car drink. I love it. Okay,
Yes.
so I do remember the Boilermaker, and thank you for clearing that up for me. I knew the Boilermaker was kind of like adjacent to the bomb, but I didn't realize that it was kind of the predecessor and the precursor. That's really good information.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a Jaeger bomb?
Oh, who hasn't?
Okay, good. That is also in the lineage of these drinks too.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Jägermeister with no Jägermeister, dropping Jägermeister into an energy drink, I think is a Jaeger
Yeah,
bomb.
I mean, you can also do it with beer. I've seen both. I think you like Red Bull, right? Is usually like the energy
Red
drink
Bull.
of choice for a Jaeger bomb. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very appetizing to me.
Yeah.
See, that's one where I was too old. When it was like, oh, we're gonna drop Jägermeister into a Red Bull. I was like, that sounds like a heart attack. I don't need that. So that one I was too old for.
I don't do Red Bulls either, but
Yeah, no, me either.
yeah. So that's kind of, I think, some of the evolution, but part of the timing is when did all this come around? And if you look online, a lot of people kind of postulate or suggest that the sake bomb was invented by GIs coming back from Japan after World War II, so in the 50s. But according to all my research, I think that sake bombs originated a little bit later. And I actually did some hardcore academic research for this episode. And I went online and researched in newspaper databases. And I spent quite a bit of time trying to find the first printed reference to sake bomb, the drink.
A drink.
Yes. Do you
Okay.
want to guess? Do you want to guess what year the first printed reference to sake bomb, the drink, is in any newspaper in the United States? Guess what year?
So I don't think I'm going to be able to guess the year, but what I'm going to guess is the 1980s. And here's why I'm going to guess the 1980s. Because the 1980s was that boom era for Japan. There was a lot of investment in the US and honestly, a lot of curiosity. So I'm going to say the 1980s because that just feels like the right climate for Japanese influence to start creeping over here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is in the 1980s. So congratulations. I was thinking that if the sake bomb was invented in the 1950s, that there would be some mention somewhere in some printed newspaper before the 1980s. But I searched high and low, and I did a really in-depth academic search for this. And the earliest printed reference that I can find in any United States newspaper that mentions sake bomb related to the drink is it's a Houston, the Houston Daily newspaper in Texas from 1987.
Oh, I don't know if I want to know how you found a copy of a Houston newspaper of 1987, but I'm impressed.
Yes. So there was a restaurant, Miyako Japanese restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
They advertised in the newspaper a sushi happy hour for sushi $1 a piece, and it says sake dash bomb $1.50.
Wow.
So this is the first printed reference I can find to someone advertising a sake bomb as a thing. But you know, these drinks kind of evolve over time before they kind of catch up with popular imagination and then would appear in some kind of documented print. So it existed for sure long before 1987, but that is the first printed reference to sake bomb in any kind of advertising or article or anything that I can find.
Interesting. That's pretty cool. I'm very impressed that you were able to find that.
Yeah. And
Nice.
I have a screenshot of the ad
Yes.
for Miyako Sushi Happy Hour.
I have now brought that up. I have now brought that up on my screen and I can now see this little like clippy coupon. This is amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
$1
For sushi.
Wow. That is,
Yeah.
Tim, can we talk about inflation for a minute? Wow. That's incredible. Wow. Mm.
It would be great if we ever get our DeLorean to go back to Miyako in Houston and try it out.
Now, out of curiosity, Tim,
Yeah.
because my mind is always on the money, not really on the money, but my mind is always on the sake. Since we're not doing sake bombs, the hell are we drinking?
Yeah, I thought about that. And
Did you?
yeah, I thought it might be okay if we drink a sake that I'm sure many people have used in sake bombs before. So this is an entry-level Junmai, and it is one of the most popular and most basic entry-level sakes you're going to see. Wouldn't you say that this sake has probably been used in a few sake bombs?
It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
And you know what also doesn't shock me? This isn't the first time this sake's been on the show before.
I know. Yes.
You may remember, historians, sake revolution historians, may recall that we've had this on the show before. And it's funny that we just reference a newspaper from Texas. I'm pretty sure our guest on the show was from Texas as well. So you're talking about the Sake Bible with author Brian Ashcraft, and we drank the Ozeki 1 Cup, which is exactly what's in my hand right now.
We are going to drink the Ozeki 1 Cup, which is a fine sake. It's a Junmai. It's made in Japan. We talked all about this with Brian. It is a fantastic entry-level sake. And the 1 Cup form factor is super historic, and we can talk a little bit about that and refresh everyone's memory. So I'm not saying that this sake should be disparaged in any way, but I think that when you're looking for an entry level, approachable sake that someone might use for this sake bomb cocktail, I think that this is a style of sake that people might grab. It's
I
affordable. You find it everywhere.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. So do you want to give us the stats on the Ozeki 1 Cup Junmai and bring us up to speed?
Absolutely, Tim. So this is the Ozeki 1 Cup Junmai. Polishing rate on the rice is 78%, which is oddly specific. And at the time that newspaper clipping was made in 1987, this would be considered Futsushu because I believe at the time Junmai needed to be under, what was it, 70%? Aha,
That's
see,
right. You
I
got
read
it.
sometimes.
A
I know these
plus.
things. I know
A
my
plus.
sake history on occasion.
Sensei is impressed.
Ah, Sensei will remember this. Okay, it is a Nakadeshin Senbon rice. The sake meter value is +5. Alcohol percentage is 13.5. I like that they bring it down a little bit because, it's a 1 cup. The acidity is 1.5. This is a 180 milliliter beverage that was made in Hyogo, Japan.
Yes. So Ozeki is one of the largest producers of sake in Hyogo. Hyogo is the prefecture that makes the most volume of sake of any prefecture in Japan. And this cup was introduced in 1964, the year that Tokyo hosted the Olympics. And as we've talked about on the podcast in the past, 1 cups from that moment on became synonymous with riding on the bullet train and having sake to go.
Yeah. Well, I think the bullet train was probably, I mean, it had already been in operation at that point, but not that long, I don't think. And I think that having the Olympics is going to be a time where you can really promote the Shinkansen, come to Japan for the Olympics and use this bullet train to go everywhere. And also have this 1 cup.
So 1964 was the Olympics and the start of the bullet train.
Oh, really? For some reason, I thought it was earlier than that. Wow.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And it says right here on this little tech sheet that there are more than 4 billion cups sold all over the world. Sounds like McDonald's, over 4 billion served.
4 billion and 2.
Yes. All right. Well,
Yeah, let's get this open up and have a sip.
yeah, sounds great.
Okay, we should put this in a shot glass and shot it. At least we would have been closer to the spirit of the sake bomb. We're not shooting 180 milliliters, though. People at home, that's not happening.
All right. So the aroma is very ricey and a little boozy, right?
Right. I'm mostly getting the rice, which is kind of surprising. I thought I would get a lot of booze. And often when there's booze, I'm very sensitive to it and I get that aroma really quickly.
Yeah.
For whatever reason today, it's really giving me a lot of the rice. So
as it should. As it should.
Rice. Sweet rice. Yeah.
Classic. It's classic.
I feel like I'm on a bullet train in 1964. Except there's no smoke in my apartment. I feel like the bullet train in 1964 probably had a lot of ambient secondhand smoke.
Yes, absolutely.
Which would enhance the experience. Maybe I think a 1 cup of sake on a bullet train in 1964. I'm thinking smoke. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're all there. We're here.
It's good. It's very basic. It's super classic. And I think when Ozeki sells this cup, they're really tuning into the nostalgia of this particular sake, which was groundbreaking for the time, and this form factor, which was groundbreaking for the time.
Sure.
So approachable, affordable, accessible. And all that being said, I still believe that if people wanted sake for a sake bomb, they would reach for something like this sake. So that's why we're featuring it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to tell quickly a little sake bomb story.
That's good because I have one too. So you go first.
Good.
Yes.
One time I was at a popular sake bar in New York. This sake bar at the time was kind of known for their sake bombs. It may still be. I haven't checked. And this, people around the bar, everybody ordered sake bombs. The bartender's like, you want one? And kind of sold so many people on getting the sake bombs. And I was there with somebody else, or was it, I don't think I was there literally with them. I think we were just nearby one another. And that person was a little more knowledgeable about sake and started kind of shitting on everybody having sake bombs, being a little uppity about it, thinking, acting like the sake bomb was bad for sake. After everybody did the sake bombs, everybody pounded them, and there's beer and sake everywhere. The bartender is like, "Look, you gotta understand, like this sake bomb, these sake bombs, you may shit on them, but this is stuff that's gonna get these people into sake, and more importantly, it's the thing that keeps the lights on here, so we can have the nice sake that you like to drink, because we sell a lot of these." And that and that person was just like, "Oh shit," and like kind of shut up and went on their way. It was an interesting moment of like remembering that, like, you don't shit on something just because you don't like it. It's good for other people, and it may serve a purpose in the business that you're sitting in, which I thought was interesting because you don't really think about it that way in a lot of cases. That's my story.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that bartender's point of view? Do you think sake bombs are a gateway to premium sake?
I don't know exactly. I've never spoken to the people who had them there. I did speak to somebody once whose first sake experience was a sake bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So there is at least circumstantial evidence that it might be the case, at least in one situation. So Tim, what is your story?
Yes, my sake bomb story also involves a sake bar that you've probably been to. It is no longer open.
Oh.
I was having dinner at this sake restaurant, and I was sitting at a table that was adjacent to the bar. So I wasn't at the bar, but I was within earshot. Mm-hmm. And this restaurant used to be on the Lower East Side, and there was a group of, I guess I'll call them frat guys.
You can just say bros.
Bros.
I don't think we need to identify the type of bro.
They might have been fraternity bros, but they were broing out. They were broing out with each other. And they were not disturbingly rowdy, but they were a little bit rowdy, and they were having a good time. And they kind of stumbled into this restaurant, and they sauntered up to the bar. And the bartender went up to them and said, "Hey guys, just so you know, we don't do sake bombs at this bar."
Did they ask for one?
No, but they looked like they
were
looked
profiled?
Like they were profiled. They looked like,
oh my goodness.
To me and the bartender, they looked like they were going to ask for that. They got profiled, and it was so funny. They immediately like sat up straight, and like their tone like quieted down. And the bartender saying that was basically like, you guys are just a scooch too rowdy. We don't do sake bombs here. And I thought it was a very interesting way to like say like, hey, this is like a little bit of an upscale restaurant. You can't be coming in here like it's,
like you're about to be doing sake bombs.
Beer pong Thursday at the frat house.
Beer pong Thursday at the frat house. Beer pong and sake bombs.
So they immediately were like, "Oh yeah, of course. No, we're not going to ask for that." And they were not apologetic, but just like, "Oh yeah," like they got the message right away. And they straightened up and ordered some great sake, and the story has a happy ending, John. So everyone enjoyed their sake. And
so you had people who avoided sake bombs and got good sake. I have people who maybe one day they'll have the premium experience.
Yeah, but I think that point you mentioned before is a sake bomb a gateway to enjoying premium sake. I have a strong opinion about that question. And I'm going to tell you what it is.
Okay. I thought you might.
I'm not going to hold back. Just like it kind of ties into the amazing episode we did with Goto-san about sake cocktails. Are sake cocktails a gateway to enjoying premium sake? And I said emphatically at the beginning that a sake bomb is a type of cocktail.
Yes, you did.
I don't necessarily believe that having these alternate versions of sake or, mixed drinks that have a little bit of sake in them are going to make you a sake drinker. It's like, oh, if you love martinis, that means in the future you're going to be a vermouth connoisseur. Like, no, it doesn't work that way.
I really enjoyed me some tiki drinks in Hawaii, and now I have a really good taste for excellent rum, which you don't necessarily get in a tiki drink.
So you're the counter argument that
I am saying that anything's possible.
I agree. I think
and you are talking to the guy who got into sake because he had Hakatsuru draft at the Ginza Lion once in 2006.
Yes.
Would you assume that there would be a correlation there? No.
On the other hand, there are restaurants that if you go in to the bar and say, can I do a sake bomb here? They're going to say no. Like, it is not acceptable in certain scenarios.
And you want to say in polite company, Tim.
For a distinguished gentleman.
Yes, for a distinguished gentleman, it is such as myself. So, Tim, what have we learned today?
Well, what have we learned? I don't know what we've learned.
I learned that you can find newspaper clippings from 1987 in another state if you try hard enough. And if your target is sake bombs, apparently, which is amazing. And I'm super happy that you did this. I don't know how you did it, but I'm happy that you did it. I also learned that sake bombs have a much longer history than I thought. I also learned that the Shinkansen actually happened in 1964 and not in like 1959 or 60, which I previously had assumed. I learned that you can tell somebody they're being rude in your restaurant by telling them that you don't serve sake bombs.
Yeah, well, that's John. That's a lot of takeaways for one episode. I think. Yeah. Well, I learned that you don't have to do sake bombs in order to research them or think critically about them. So
fair enough.
I'm going to hide behind the academic approach here. And for any listeners that think we absolutely should have done a sake bomb, please write in and let us know, and we'll take it under advisement. Right, John?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
John, this was really fun. Thank you for listening to my long and winding road explanation of how we got from a boilermaker to a sake bomb. And I think the history of this drink is really interesting, and it is part of American culture. There is no denying that.
Yes.
And we just got to, study it in its natural habitat and not try to bring it out of there. That's what I think.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, it was great to taste with you, and just so much fun to be back in the saddle and enjoying sake with you, John. I'd like to thank all of our listeners for tuning in, but especially I want to say hello to our Patreon supporters. If you would like to show your support for our podcast, and if you enjoyed this episode, please consider joining our community on Patreon. We're a listener-supported show, and the support we receive from our patrons allows us to host, edit, and produce a podcast for you every month, and we are so excited to welcome you to our community. To visit us there, go to patreon.com/sakerevolution.
While you are looking up websites to look at Sake Revolution stuff, go to sakerevolution.com, because that's where the show notes live. We have a lot of visuals associated with this show sometimes. This is one of those shows for sure, one of those episodes. So you'll be able to see the coupon, the mystery ad, the coupon from the Houston newspaper from 1987. And I believe also some fun facts about the One Cup Junmai. So on that note, Tim, please raise your cup. Remember to keep drinking one cups and kanpai.